Welcome to this episode of Sunny Silver Linings. Sunny's guest today is Jeff Farris, President and CEO of Cloud Radical. In this episode, Sunny and Jeff chat about client engagement, maturity, making progress with your MSP and the new work model, and so much more. And now, your host, the founder and CEO of IT by Design, Mr. Sunny Kayla. Over to you, Sunny.
Jeff, thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sunny. Glad to be here.
Today, I'm very excited about our topic today, Jeff. It's really important to serve your customers right, and knowing where you are in terms of your overall journey with customer engagement. So our topic today is really important, which is importance of client engagement, engagement maturity, and why our MSP friends needs to be really focused in this area in order for them to scale effectively, have a sustainable growth, and move from that early stage MSPs to very mature, sustainable, self-managed MSPs. So thank you for kind of really bringing your wisdom, you have so much experience. I was reading a little bit more about you, and you taking a company having that IPO, and you're a serial entrepreneur, so you have a lot of experience and a lot of life taught you a lot in terms of how to build businesses. And that's what MSPs are really focused on, MSPs where they are growth focused. So can you share with me, first of all, let's start with defining engagement maturity in your what is your definition of engagement maturity?
Let me start back just a second before and kind of describe maybe how we ended up in the mess that I think we're in right now.
Yeah.
And again, I do go way back, unfortunately. And back when I first started, I guess in the industry, MSPs were VARs, right? And a VAR sold their services. They sold hardware, they sold services. And once the client bought them, there was no monthly recurring, it was just done. So basically, engagement had to be there every single month if the VAR was going to sell new services and software to clients. So customer service, customer facing, customer engagement was paramount. As the industry morphed into MRR, pretty soon it became clear that you could just sell the same stuff each month, whether you talk to clients or not. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the lines, that whole industry shifted from something that was very sales centric to something that's very service centric. Mm-hmm. And through all of that, the client got lost. Right. I mean, it's what we experienced with JP Morgan. It's what we experience in a lot of other service-oriented business, yeah, where we become more transactional as opposed to more sales-oriented. And so engagement maturity is really the ability of an MSP to measure and to get back that customer focus, that sales focus to their business that helps them grow and thrive. And expand their opportunity base as the industry changes around them.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. I started my MSP, Jeff, in 2003 in New York City. And I remember those days. It was not managed services. No one knew what recurring revenue is. It was like, hey, you need a computer guy? Okay, we're going to come fix it. But that's the overall, the way it was more like, okay, what can I earn month to month or year to year? It was not about building a business that has valuation or some kind of multiple one day, because as we all know, there are some MSPs, they are still into hardware selling and building those white boxes and selling those. They don't have too much recurring revenue, as a bigger percentage of their revenue is still very transactional, and they have no value. And there are owners that are about to retire, but they don't have, and they don't know how to retire and how to tell their families that, okay, they were not doing the right thing to build a business, because they built their business on more of non-recurring business. But at the point that you made, now it's all about recurring and retention of that recurring revenue. And that's what kind of PE companies or bigger MSPs, when they buy, that's what they pay for, right? What is my potential? What is my potential from the recurring revenue that I'm buying? And what is the overall trend in terms of retention, right? So which comes from measuring and managing client engagement, because relationships are prime.
Yeah, I would actually go back and say valuations are really composite of two vectors. One is operational maturity, which is measuring, financial health of the organization, the quantity or the percentage of managed recurring revenue versus project revenue.
Yeah.
Showing, the strength of your financials, the strength of your margins. And that operational maturity vector is what most MSPs measure against today. I think there's another vector that needs to be taken into account, and that's the engagement maturity vector, which talks about how well you're actually interacting with your clients. If your clients are on autopilot and you're not really talking to them or engaging with them or really understanding their business, to me, that's going to have a lower valuation than it would if you were highly engaged and more of a strategic partner with those clients. And so the combination of both operational maturity and engagement maturity is probably the accurate way to measure the value of an MSP today.
Yeah, that is so true. And thank you for clarifying that, because overall efficiency, what is that revenue costing you to deliver? It comes from you being very operationally mature and making sure that it's not very labor focused. Systems are being used, automation is being used to deliver that service at the highest level, and your margins, right? So your agreement margins are maintained. So thank you for that. Now, why the engagement, the importance overall? So is there anything that you want to add? I know we talked a little bit in terms of why it was not an issue in the past, and why the importance of engagement maturity is a lot more right now as in reference to the past. Do you have anything to add to for those two questions?
I have a lot to say. I don't know if you have enough time, but the core is with engagement maturity. Let's step back a minute. Even operational maturity, the industry is built around delivering operational maturity, and the whole tool set ecosystem out there is built to help an MSP achieve operational maturity. The PSAs, all the tools that do automations, they're all to help make that tech stack as productive and as automated as possible. Because again, that's how you make your margins with MRR. On the engagement side, and I think this is where Cloud Radial and my current company focuses, is really helping clients implement what we call a CSA, a client services automation platform. The CSAs, PSAs work hand to hand. The client services automation platform, Cloud Radial being one, is designed to help automate and scale those client relationships. So if an MSP who's busy taking care of day-to-day service requirements doesn't have the energy or the time or the money to field a sales team, so they need to use a digital first strategy in order to be able to grow and engage their clients. Most like every other vendor works with us today. I mean, whether it's Amazon, whether it's the phone company, all of our vendors work with us digitally first today. And then if people are required after that, then they're certainly there and available.
Yeah, and so in terms of engagement maturity, so if I'm MSP, let's assume that I'm probably that MSP where I'm intentional about improving my engagement maturity with my customers. And, where should I start? What is key for my success? So can you guide me? What is the right starting point, and how can I go about my strategy? What are the strategies I can use to make sure that I have a solid plan to improve my engagement maturity?
So if you think about engagement maturity, we define it actually as 5 levels. The first level being chaotic, which is where most MSPs are probably today, in the sense that tickets are coming in by email or by phone. Responses are random. Account managers are typically reactive instead of proactive. Product sets are, varied, typically maybe just 1 or 2 services. And so in the chaotic phase, everything's a snowflake, everything's a one-off. In the next phase of engagement maturity is what we would call structured, which is basically then information starts flowing into the MSP in a structured way. So tickets come in complete, pre-triage, ready to go. Information is again, clients are interacting and asking for the same set of services, so it makes it very easy to scale those interactions. After that is informative, where the MSP is now working backwards to the client to keep the client up to date with all the information. So again, rather than bombard the clients with random emails or give them information or reports that don't really make sense, they're giving information to clients that helps them understand what the MSP is doing for them. And then if you do those 2 things well, you can move to the collaborative phase, where you're actually starting to use common data, common information flowing to and from clients to be able to sit down and work out solutions and plans for going forward. And if you've worked collaboratively for a while, again, with a common set of data, you'll emerge to become a strategic advisor with that client. If you think about the idea of a strategic advisor versus a collaborative advisor, the strategic advisor understands the business, right? It's not just a give and take back and forth, but they've really taken time to understand where the business is going, where it's headed. And for that to happen, so many things have to be done, first, right? I mean, the basics of, again, getting out of the chaos mode, getting into common sets of information, and then building that trust from all of that. Once you build that trust and you're collaborative, you really have a chance to move into that strategic advisory role, which is, I think most MSPs desire to be, but they don't necessarily have the time or the tools to get there today.
That's very, very valuable information, because so we have been building our engagement program from years, and I see that that relevancy there, that how we made some progress. And I mean, I was not thinking along these lines, but it just makes perfect sense the way you described it, that it's moving from like where you don't have any structure. Is like very muscle and feel, right? And which is very labor intensive. And then you go to more of structured approach, that some systems are being leveraged to, then you're taking a little bit of proactive approach, information or informative, you said, and then more of a collaborative way to then more of a strategic way. That makes so much sense. So now, can you share with our MSP friends, in each one of these areas, if this is the strategy, these are the steps that they have to go with, what is that one thing that they can do in each one of these areas, or areas where they can start with? What is actionable that you can give them, that at least they can start working, they can start making progress towards their targeted operational maturity level, engagement maturity level?
Right. I think the first thing for every MSP is to understand the scope of the opportunity that's ahead of them. A lot of MSPs will look at this and go like, okay, so if this is just one more thing we have to do, like we have to deploy antivirus and now we have to deploy engagement maturity or whatever the industry's saying. But that's not really what it's about. The engagement maturity is basically an untapped potential among most MSPs.
Yes.
We hear a lot of MSPs, and again, there's a lot of sales programs and marketing programs in this industry that help MSPs get their next new logo business. When in reality, there's another customer, probably several customers worth of business in the existing client base, if you know how to go exploit that and go talk to those clients and have a way to basically take that trust level up a notch.
Mm.
And if you look at engagement as a way, again, if you look at it as a way to value your MSP, because I do think, a higher engagement score would get you a higher valuation, or certainly should get you a higher valuation,
Yeah.
then you should be able to also understand that a higher engagement score would actually bring more revenue and potentially more margin back to your business as well, right? Again, if you don't have to bring on a whole nother client, onboarding a new client is painful, is time intensive. It's
Mhm.
much easier to just take existing business or grow new project revenue or grow MRR from an existing client, much more efficient, much easier to bring that revenue on board, hopefully with less people and less resources than would be required sometimes for new clients.
Mhm. That's awesome. And yeah, so having a system, and then having this approach to really understand what you want to deliver on, or that engagement that you want to focus on, and having a little bit more structure towards making that progress. And one thing, I don't know if you were in that M&A keynote by Fred, some data that he shared, that every single new dollar that we bring in at Kaseya, or it's like, he was like, it is true for MSPs as well, that every new dollar, if it's from the new logo, is costing us $0.07, I think he said. It was in that range, that it was more than the new dollar that they're bringing in from the new logo. And if they are bringing that new dollar from the existing account, it was costing 30 cents. So just
Mm-hmm.
see the difference, like the cost of growing, right? Cost of that revenue growth. And then retention obviously is a major factor in valuation. And not only then it's costing you less to grow, but it's also creating a lot more value for your business from the valuation point of view. So, I mean, those are the business outcomes that MSPs can achieve by focusing on your big idea, which is, engagement is the key. That is a
Yes,
sustainable way to grow your business.
yes, Sonny, that's an excellent point you made there. The amount of money it takes to chase that incremental dollar, again, is so skewed around servicing your existing clients. What's interesting though, and if you talk to most MSPs, probably 90% of their time goes to 10% of their clients.
Yes.
Um, and that means that 90% of their clients aren't getting the time and attention they need to be developed into maybe more mature or faster growing clients. So if you can automate that through things like a CSA, if you can automate that process and try to bring productivity to that through a digital first strategy, it has a huge impact on MSP operations. And again, if you can skew that vector of engagement through automation, now you start reaping the benefits of those lower cost sales.
Absolutely. And then another piece where I think it's hard to put a price tag on that, Jeff, which is your reputation. Because with the churn, client churn, right, that word of mouth that, hey, this company didn't do a good job, or this company, like their overall, they don't have their act together in terms of service. That is that's a lot of impact on your brand loyalty, your brand, people's the way they look at your brand, the way, then it's just that impact that cannot be described in numbers, but the overall business impact of having a brand where brand is known for good customer service, where you're going above and beyond creating that value, which is more than what customer is expecting. Your kind of overall then referral based business grow. I mean, more referrals come in, so you grow with more referrals. So there's just so much value in being intentional about engagement focus, customer engagement or engagement maturity focus. Now, how are you helping your MSP partners to get better in this area?
So Cloud radio for us is the tool that we think gives MSPs a fighting chance, right? I mean, if you think about the typical MSP, they work so hard on behalf of their clients that the way they view themselves servicing their clients is they rarely leave anything on the table, right? They're out there working 24/7, weekends, nights, whatever they need to make sure that client is set up and configured correctly and running correctly. From the client perspective, again, that's within the MSP's view. From the client perspective, they don't see anything, right? They either see it work or they don't work. I mean, they're in the business of doing everything but IT, right? So from a client perspective, typically they are out of control. They don't understand what's going on. Maybe they're not reported right. And with cloud radio, we've really been able to give MSPs the ability to put their best digital foot forward to clients so that the clients, again, can have that, structured, informative, collaborative, and strategic experience with their partners without the partner having to hire, more staff or add dramatic amount of new resources to bring that about. And I think with cloud radio, we've been able to transform, in cloud radio, we bring together all those client touch points, everything client in one single client facing portal. And that's ticketing, QBRs, reporting, Office 365 information, training. I mean, there's so much in cloud radio because there needs to be a lot in cloud radio because from a client perspective, there just needs to be the partner's portal, the partner experience where the client goes to see what's going on, to understand what's going on, and to comment about what's going on and to collaborate, right? So again, when we can provide that single pane of glass for clients that MSPs can live in with those clients, it's a huge game changer for MSPs to take their engagement strategy to a whole nother level.
Yeah. So what I hear you say, Jeff, is, so I mean, for any business, there are people and their processes and their systems. My formula is talent, tools, and trainings. And when I say tools, I mean systems that you use. So what I hear you say is that you have a platform that can help MSPs have a better process for engagement, and you can give them data insights that they can use to be better, to understand the overall health, and giving those insights that they can take action based on the data that is available in that portal.
Absolutely. And secondly, I mean, we are platforms, because again, we pull together a lot of stuff. We pull together probably over 50 integrations with other MSP, kit. What we also do though is we also help MSPs define a new process. So one of the things that we now do with the product is when someone signs up with Cloud Radio, they also go through a jumpstart, and that jumpstart helps them understand how to apply Cloud Radio. I mean, most MSPs today are kind of stuck in the chaotic phase, and helping an MSP understand the difference between where they're at today and where they could be with the Cloud Radio platform. We found that we can really get them there and get them to see the benefits of the platform within 30 days by going through that jumpstart process. And so again, we're going to give them the platform, we're going to give them a better process, and we'll help and make sure that their people are trained and ready to go. So, I mean, we're going to bring two of those three pieces with us to make sure that MSP takes full advantage of the platform that we deliver.
Yeah, no, that is, so that was my next question actually, because, less is more with systems and tools. I'm glad that those integrations are there. Because the one problem that our partners normally will share is, this system is not talking to this. I need to log into these different areas. But you resolve that problem by having integrations with the key or main platforms in the industry. And I want to take this opportunity to invite our partners to our conference in 4 weeks, end of July. And I know you are coming there as well.
We are.
Yeah, so the one thing, having that now 20 years of MSP experience and building, the top 10 biggest MSPs in the channel, which is privately held. And I can see the importance, and I can see that how, a kind of a business can really benefit from this overall thinking and having a platform to help them. So are you planning to share something during Build It where it can really help our partners be better with their engagement strategy and maturity?
Sure, if they'll stop by the booth, we've got a free book that we'll be able to give to them, talking about building the ultimate client experience, but it basically lays out the customer journey of land, onboard, manage, and grow. Because again, with a good engagement strategy, it supercharges every phase of that life cycle. Again, if not only is engagement maturity something that existing clients benefit from greatly, it's also a strategy that new logo clients can really understand then what it's like to work with that MSP. And a good engagement strategy is a game changer in the sales cycle, as well as in the account management side.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff, for coming to my show and sharing a lot of valuable insights that matter. And I think this is the most important piece a business owner can kind of really focus on, because if you can do this thing right, then your business will automatically grow. Because the way this world works is that we all as entrepreneurs are creating value for someone who is cutting that check. That check writer is the most important person that you need to take care of. And if that check writer is happy, that check writer is engaged, then obviously the way businesses work is that with those checks, we have means to help our teams and grow our teams. Because I understand, like at ITBD, we are people centric and our team first, but in the greater good of my team, I need to make sure that the check writer is taken care of. Mm-hmm. And with that check writer taken care of, you can build a business which has the highest value, the share value, and you have less cost. Your expense is low because you're growing with the referrals and you're growing with your existing accounts. So I encourage all of our partners to come and talk to you and your team at the show. And we will try our best to create a learning opportunity there as well. So along with your book, where I want you to think about, Jeff, and like something that we can give during Build It, where not only they can take this information, but they have like some kind of something to try, which is risk-free, to try your platform for risk-free. And along with that, we can do something. I'm going to go back and talk to my team to see if there is any kind of panel, any kind of breakout where our partners can come and kind of really have a plan or transform their engagement plan, their engagement maturity as a business, because it is so important. And one more thing that I want to share with our partners is we are working really hard to host you here. Our hospitality is best in class. We have special partner exclusive for Hudson dinner cruise, where Jeff is going to be there, I'm going to be there, my entire team is going to be there as partner exclusive. Then we are having 2 hours of personal meet and greet with Eli Manning at Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium. And that is only for our partners. It's limited to 150 people. So your invitation to come and join us as our partners and have that meet and greet and leadership lessons learning from Eli, from his career. And then we have 2 days, which is a university training, which is free for our partners. We have 2 days of John C. Maxwell-led leadership learning. So it's our leadership development program for our customers, and it's free for 2 days. Jack Daly doing sales trainings. and John C. Maxwell's key team doing leadership trainings, and then we have Larry Little. This is all complementary for our partners, because to this topic, we really are here committed to create that value for our partners with the same thinking that we want to grow with our existing partners more than any new partner. So we are investing, we are giving back to our partners because their success is our success. And that's how we can build ITBD as a sustainable, successful platform as well. So thank you so much, Jeff. And I look forward to seeing you at Build It.
Yeah, Sunny, same here. Enjoyed it.